You know what time it is. It's time for spring cleaning. And what happens is we get all stuck in our houses and everything gets kind of cluttered, and so we want to clean everything. Put away all the boxes from the holidays. And what happens is once it gets warm, we decide that it's time to do spring cleaning in our gardens too. And so we start to do the same thing. We take everything that's fallen off the trees and we put it into nice big piles. And then we get out our little brooms and we take it all and we put it in a bag, and then we take it to the dump. Well, at Your Garden Companion, I want us to show you what we do, because this is all natural stuff. This is all natural duff. Duff is that litter layer that falls down from the trees. This is from juniper. So actually I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm just going to spread it around one of my beds here. Got lots of good microbes in it. Microbes, bacteria, fungi, probably little tiny spring snails about the size of a millimeter. You don't see all the life that's in the soil. So all that life in the soil depends on all the leaf litter that's dropping from the trees and from the branches. So we're going to use the broom, but we'll use it last, and it's not going to be our main tool. So first of all, we're going to walk the property, and we're going to take a look at what's going on. What really does need to be cleaned up? What should we do this time of year? So the reason I have flags is because I want to flag what we want to keep, and we don't want to clip it down. Here, for instance, is a little snowberry. It still has the berries on it. Some trees and shrubs will hang on to their berries for a long time. Rodents like to eat the berries, and so we're not going to do anything to that shrub right there. This is mountain hollyhock. It's got a lot of seeds in there. So if it's got a lot of seeds in there and we really don't have new seeds yet, then we want to keep that one. Okay? So we're not going to trim that one back yet. But here we have a lot of these deciduous shrubs. These are spireas. And these spireas, they need to bloom on new growth. And so we're going to trim some of them down. We're not into putting plants in the wrong spot or the wrong size. So we don't prune, we take pruning lightly. You know, we don't just dive in because everybody wants to prune at the end. So we may thin this out a little bit. There's actually some buds on the spirea, and we do have some spirea seeds. Sometimes we may go ahead and take a rake, and we'll rake up some areas, and that's where we'll seed more of the spirea. They've already been dormant through the winter time, and so they would be cold stratified. So if you put them in the right spot, then they may reproduce. We have a lot of litter here. A lot of this can kind of be cleaned up. Now that's one thing that we will do, is if, like, this is a catmint, and I didn't plant it here. I'm a native plant gal, and most everything in the landscape really likes native plants. So if you want to be your hero to your birds and wildlife, you will you'll really minimize what you have that is non-native. So this non-native catmint, I'm going to keep it here because I do have to manage it in several landscapes. So I like to have an opportunity to work with some of these plants here. But we're not going to spread the seeds of catmint. This is the one that we are going to sweep up, put it in a bag, and hopefully the seeds will die in the landfill. Don't be mad at me now, because birds need 70% of the landscape to be native, not ornamental. Ornamental is pretty. And as a matter of fact, this is a horehound mint. This too is a non-native plant, so we'll remove the non-native Moorhound. It is holding the soil. I'm not going to take it all out, but this one we will put into a tub. And this is a non-native. These are the ornamental plants. So I have left some ornamental plants in the landscape as an experiment to see just how well the pollinators use them. And this little beautiful purple shrub, it blooms at the end of the season, and I never see a butterfly come to it or another insect come to it to pollinate. So whoever selected this plant for its form or beauty kind of selected out for the pollinators that need it. I've taken this out of my other area. I don't have a replacement right now, so I'm going to keep this. But these will go to the landfill. Even the leaves on some of the ornamental plants can change the soil chemistry. So, you know, thinking local really has to convert almost everything that we do. Not just the food that we eat, having it as local as possible and buying it from local farmers, but we've got to think that what grows here that's local, native, not prairie native. We're not in the prairie, but desert, high desert, local native, Central Oregon native plants. That's what lives here. We need to create a great welcoming philosophy around our native plants. Okay, so the ornamental plants that are here, we are going to prune them down, and these will all be piled up and go to the landfill. Okay. Now, let's talk about, you all have a little grass. Some of you have a lot of grass, and this whole landscape was grass. So we have really scaled it back. We're trying to shrink our little footprint from a size 12 to a size 5. Okay, so we've got a lot of cones. These cones are not even opened up yet. That means there's valuable seed in there. We don't need to get rid of those cones. They can stay for the squirrels. We got to be thinking about the squirrels too. This one's only partially opened up. Save that one. If it's a really old cone, we can take them. Could someone grab a tub, please? And we can put them in the compost. Every little nook and cranny in that cone is a micro habitat for some type of small insect or bacteria. So when you buy pre-made soil from the landfill, then you have one size fits all. Well, we all know that one size really doesn't fit all. So if we want diversity in the soil, then we're going to save some of these old cones for them. This one's been, you can still see the seeds in this pine cone right there. All right, so gray squirrel and your little babies up there. I'm going to leave that one for you. So as we walk in here, we'll just pick up some of the biggest clumps. We'll throw the cones that can be eaten by the squirrels in the landscaped area. And then the other ones, you can put them along the edge. You can put them in your compost. And we do mitigate for fire too. So if you have a few extra pine cones, I guess I don't blame you, because there are a few extra here, and we all have some fire to mitigate for during the season. Anyway, that's just a few of the tips for today, and for this program. We will probably do a little bit more with our staff. Thank you.